Hey guys, it's Tim. If you're a high ticket sales rep and you want to make way more money, you're trying to hit months of 10K, 15K, 20K plus in commissions, I'm going to show you how to use honesty as a tool to handle objections at the highest level, how to close way more deals, how to handle objections, how to pre-frame, how to get compliance on your calls, and how to get people just saying yes because you use honesty as a tool. This is what I run through with my clients. It's a technique that has worked for me, and it's not even so much of a technique, it's more of a principle that's worked for me and has helped me make a whole bunch of money in sales, consistent months of 15K plus, my highest month being 18K in commissions in February of 2024. And I'm going to give you the strategy that I use on my calls and that I give to my clients here. Now, honesty is an interesting tactic that is not talked about a lot. I actually don't know anyone who's talking about this because it's kind of psycho. Okay, so what we're going to learn here is going to border on, I want to figure out the right word to use, a little psychopathic. Okay, so, and that's the way I train. Like I train on real shit, real human behavior, real communication, real psychology. That's my background. I was a dating coach for 5 years, and I was in the weeds teaching dating to professional men who had really good careers and were very smart but could never find out how to attract women. So I would take them to bars and clubs, and we'd run these dating programs, these like boot camps, and I would help them learn how to attract women, how to communicate with women, and how to build relationships in the most ethical way possible. But a lot of the principles that we had to learn there also apply in sales, but in sales you can use it differently because in dating it's about intimacy, in sales it's just about getting cash from someone, right? So in sales you can use these principles at an even higher level, and I think a lot of you here who really love the game of sales and want to get good at it are going to appreciate this. Whatever offer you're on, this stuff can work. So the reason I wanted to make this training is because I keep getting this question about old school sales tactics. Like the tactics you saw from, some of the pioneers in this space, the guys that were teaching this maybe 2017, 2018, some names like maybe the Dan Locks of the world, or even people like Cole Gordon, who's amazing. These guys are pioneers in the space and changed the game. And I wouldn't be where I am doing what I'm doing if they hadn't, contributed to the space and built what they built, because I've learned from a lot of these guys. Old school sales tactics don't work as well as they used to. That's a fact. A lot of the ideas on human behavior, leadership, all those things, yes, they still apply to an extent. 100% they apply. But the tactics don't necessarily work as well as they used to. And the reason is because buyers are more aware, right? So as any industry progresses, the industry collects more data. So in the sales space, it's like this. It's like this in sports. It's like this in dating. It's like this in tech, right? Any industry that follows rules and follows principles is going to collect more data sets over time. So a lot of times buyers nowadays in the sales space, not in the sales space, but buyers who are investing in offers, whether it's fitness offers, marketing offers, agency work, dating services, mindset coaching, health and wellness, whatever the industry, the offer you're on, tax savings, a lot of them have been on sales calls. So they're more aware of like, this is going to help me get to where I need to be versus not. Buyers are just more aware. The old school sales tactics that used to work, I'm not going to go into them here. Those old school tactics that some of you may have read about don't work as well now, especially if they're not done very well. And a lot of times people, sales reps, hear these old school tactics and they're like, oh, I can use this, I can try this tactic, but they don't know how to use them very well. Okay, this is one of the reasons I love using honesty as a tool for closing. And I'm going to explain to you how to use honesty. Before I get into it, and I will go into detail, we're going to go into a lot here, actually. There's a lot of principles I have. Before I go into this, I want you to understand that I'm not saying use honesty because, oh, it's so ethical. Yes, it is more ethical, and I prefer to sell ethically. I don't like, bullshitting people. That's not my style. That's just never who I've been. But the reason I'm giving you honesty is not because, oh, we want to be like ethical and kind. It's not that. It's because it's a tool that's going to help you close more deals. Honesty is a way better model of selling than using shady tactics or like underhanded tactics where you're using dishonesty and you're essentially lying, which happens a lot on a lot of sales calls, to be honest. But modern day buyers are aware of this, and if you want to be really good at sales, you want to learn how to weaponize honesty. Hear this word, and if you're taking notes or if you're processing this, if you're locked in, maybe you're multitasking, but if you are locked in, you can weaponize honesty and use honesty as a tool to help people create change that's going to make you, your family, people around you way more money and create a better life for yourself because you're going to be able to close more people, okay? So here's why I use honesty to close at the highest levels. Here's why I use honesty to close, and here's how. I'll give you kind of both, but I'll give you the baseline. And usually in our videos, you guys may have seen some of my stuff already. I start with the baseline of why we're doing this. So the reason why, 3 reasons I have. So when you use honesty, number one is it gives you more room for variation or error because the grounds aren't false. It's very important to understand that. When you use honesty as a tool and as the grounds for how you sell, you're able to make slightly more mistakes with how you communicate and how you frame things because the grounds that you're communicating from aren't false and you're not telling the truth. right? So I'll give an example of this. Let's say that you're talking about the length of a program, or you're talking about how much support is in the program, right? This is a really good one where some people will be skeptical and they say, okay, how much access do I have to the business owner? That's a really good example. And some closers who are not skilled, or closers who have to reach into dishonesty in order to close, they'll say, yeah, you'll get tons of time with him. Not true, because you're probably not going to fucking get tons of time with the guy, right? So bullshit. The prospect may believe that if they're dumb, maybe they'll believe that. And not even if they're dumb. Maybe some people just will say, okay, I take him at face value, what he said. But generally, a lot of market-aware buyers are just going to be a little skeptical, and you can get called out on that. If they ask another question, like, wait, so how many calls do we have with him? Or do I get their number then? How does that work? And they're like, well, you don't, but there's a school community and you can write him. Now it sounds shitty because you just lied. You said you get tons of time with him, you get access to the business owner. Not true. It doesn't work that way. So someone asked me, how much time do you get with the business owner? Let's say the dating offer that I was on as an example, because I was on dating offer, the offer was really well set up, but they only talked to the business owner in a group. They weren't talking to him one-on-one unless they were in the mastermind level program, which was kind of the next level one, or I think they called it the elite program. So how I'd frame this is I'd say, so they asked me, I kind of trying to role play it live while talking to you here. They're like, do we get access to the business owner? How does that work? Can I talk to, let's pretend his name is John. Can I talk to John? The way I would say it is, yeah, absolutely. So what we do is during the week, we have these intimate incubator sessions, these kind of small group sessions where you're going to be working with him directly and breaking down everything that's going on in terms of dating and relationships. So you're literally seeing him 3 times a week, and he's going in depth with you personally on everything that's going on when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationships, and really putting a microscope, or I'd call it a magnifying glass, over what's going on. You're doing this consistently, so there's a lot of input, there's a lot of attention. I didn't lie. I didn't say you're going to get tons of time with him. That's nonsense. I said 3 times a week you're going to do it in a group format. I said that. And then I described that using language that was as good as possible for what the company is delivering on. Makes sense. So I used honesty. That way no one gets buyer's remorse. No one comes in, they're like, oh, you promised me this, and I'm getting this instead. That never happens. Instead, I say what you're getting. I don't distort the truth. Oh, distort, yes. I want to be clear on that. I do distort it, but not within the realm of lying. So I'm not amplifying a lie. Instead, I'm telling the truth, and I'm amplifying the way the truth is presented. Number 2, another reason I like to use honesty is because you can qualify the truth. And that's kind of an example of what I just did, sort of, right? So you can give a completely true statement to your prospects, and then you can say then, or like but, or and. Right? So what I'll do, and I'll give more examples of this. I'll give you guys some case studies, right? I'll give you like a real scripting you can use, and we'll apply it on your calls. I'll run you guys through some points here that are going to take your game to the next level in sales. But what I like to do is I'll make a completely true statement, and then I'll add an and. So as an example with that, what I just did, hey, you're working with him 3 days a week, and then I put and. All right, so here's how it would sound, scripting now. So you'll work with them 3 days a week, and really what our goal is on these sessions is to just give you the most intimate support possible so that every aspect of how you date, every aspect of how you build relationships, all of that's being looked at every single day. Or I should say not every single day, 3 days during the week, but even outside of that, you're given homework and you're given things to apply, right? So what I did was I basically said, hey, you're not getting exactly what you might want, which is full time with the business owner. I'll be honest about that. I'm not going to BS them there. And then I'll say, but here's how it works, and present it in the most attractive way possible. So you take the truth and you present it possible. I'll give a silly example. This coffee cup right now, which I stole from my girl, this is her cup, but she left it home. So I'm like, hey, I'll drink some coffee on video. Shout out William Brown, because it looks cool having a coffee cup. And hey, I need another coffee today. But what I'll do, let's say this coffee cup right now, and I'm selling it. The coffee cup is about halfway full, right? It's like right up to here. This is kind of the point where it's filled to. And someone's like, so I just want to be clear, am I getting a full cup of coffee? How do you answer that? You could say, yeah, the coffee is mostly full. It's basically full. Shitty closing, weak mindset. All you're doing is trying to bumble through a process, and you have no idea how communication works. If I hear a closer do this on an offer that I'm coaching on, or an offer that where I'm managing, or someone who's in my program, and I'm like training them, I'm going to call you out and be like, hey, let's not do that again, because that was nonsense. You just cheated the process. So how would we say this? My mind is blank, by the way. I'm making this up as I go along in terms of my scripting. I do not have this in my notes for these YouTube videos. I'm making up some shit. So they're like, hey, is the coffee cup going to be full though? Here's my response. Well, the way that it works is we present you a cup that's, give or take, let's say 60 to 75% full. Okay, so that's not a lie, right? I don't know the percentage. It's about half. We could bump it up to 60. I didn't lie. Cool, we're still within the range of truth. Does that make sense? I am distorting the truth, 100%, but I'm not explicitly lying. 60, 75%. I'm not saying the cup is full. That's a lie. And then they can call you out on it. What you want is to be able to present things. I hope that you guys don't judge me for this video. I told you I'm going to put some real shit out here. So this is really how I do sales. I want to present things, right, that are within the realm of truth, but presented in the most optimal way possible, right? So I'll say, yeah, the way that it works is we give our cups, give or take, around 60% full, at times 75%, just basically depending on the cup that you get. Because our goal, here goes the but, here goes the qualification, because our goal really is experience. So instead of us just filling the cup right to the top, where it's like, yeah, you just get a full cup of coffee, instead we're like, instead of putting it right to the top, and this doesn't make sense because we're talking about fucking coffee, guys. Okay, but get the example. Instead of putting it right to the top, let's put a little more focus on the quality of the experience when you're drinking it, which means the taste, the quality. There's even sometimes a bit of foam in there, which kind of adds to, like, it's not 100%, but there's foam, right? So the experience you're getting 60-75% full, but the quality of that is huge. So the question, I guess, would come back to you: is it that, hey, I just need that extra 10%, 20%, whatever it be, of coffee? Or is that I want a powerful experience and still a mostly full cup? Like, what would you want to have? Come on, that's some nasty fucking scripting right there, right? Right? If you're hearing this and you're with me, you're like, fuck, that was good. Because I know that was pretty freaking good, right? So I'm qualifying the truth. I make a completely true statement within reason, give or take, completely true statement, and then I qualify it with a but or an and or although or some other qualifying statement, right? And then number 3, here's where things get real cool. And this is a concept I really love, and I don't know any closers who do this well except for the guys I train. Like, our people know how to do this very well, you know, once they get good. But a lot of people in the sales space can't do this. I never present an unrealistic promise. I'll never do that. I never give my prospects unrealistic promises. Those of you who have come and trained with me, who've been in our program, those of you who are booking demo calls, you'll know this when you talk to myself or you talk to Joe, who's our closer. If you get to that point, if you get past the strategy call, which is the first step, not a sales call, but if you get to that point and you talk to me or you talk to Joe, you'll know that we promise we don't give you anything that's unrealistic. Like, if someone says, "So I'll make 10K within 3 months," I'm like, I can't promise you that. Why would I promise you that? It doesn't make sense. Right? Because what I like to do, and a lot of buyers really respect this, I found, and with the data that I've seen on my offers that I've closed for the people that I'm training, the closers I've placed and trained, one thing that I see is the promises that you make have to be believable. Okay, so if you're making promises to people, but they're not believable, it's going to cause kind of buyer resistance, because they're like, this guy's just trying to sell me a dream. And modern day prospects, stick with me here, this is very important. Modern day prospects are very aware of being sold a dream, and no one likes to be sold a dream. Trust me on that. Maybe you don't believe it now, or maybe you don't understand this, or maybe you do, but this is the psychology I'm giving you. Modern day buyers don't like to be sold a dream. No one likes to feel like they're getting had. No one likes to feel like you're getting one over on them, like you're pulling the wool over their eyes. It's not a thing people like. Right, so if you're talking to buyers and you're presenting them all these promises, yeah, bro, you will see success in this time frame. Bullshit. It's an unrealistic promise. And what happens is people in their subconscious know that it's too good to be true. People know that. So people are already skeptical. So that's why when I see all this marketing that's like, hey, make 10K in your first 90 days, and bullshit, because most people, 90% of people will not do that. So some people will, by the way. If you're on an offer, I'm talking remote, like high ticket remote sales now. If you're on an offer, you know, you could do that potentially. If you're on an offer and you're already on an offer that has a decent opportunity and you just work on your skill set, some of our guys have done this, you can actually make more than 10K very quickly. But generally in this space, that's not going to happen, right? Even in ecomm, I see a lot of people promising, hey, just change your life like this, minimal effort. And that's a really nice marketing pitch. It's really good to get people on calls, but then people come on the calls and you as a closer, you're like, okay, this guy's been promised a dream. Now what angle do I take? So I'm never presenting unrealistic promises to my prospects. I'm just never doing that because it doesn't help. Right? I'm always making sure that the promise I give, the dialogue that I have with them, and I say where you will be, what you'll get to, who you can become, what your results will be like, I have to make sure that it's believable, and this is of the utmost importance. So I'm going to go into, how many points do I have? I have 5 points here. 5 specific points. 2 of them are really powerful examples, and then 3 of them are some principles you can follow. This stuff is going to change your game, and I think some of the insights I've given already are very helpful, even if you cut off the video here, but there's a bit we're going to get to here. Before I get to that, I want to tell you about the newsletter. So I've just launched a newsletter. It's free, as most newsletters are, but ours is better than all the other newsletters because, hey, it's me writing this shit. It's not a copywriter. I don't have some dude who's typing out this stuff for me. It's me. I'm doing it, and I write my insights and my experiences in the sales space. I write all my emails, and it's not just that. I actually put out an extraordinary amount of value in this newsletter. So I share insider training, stuff that's not here on YouTube, stuff that's crazy good, like stuff that you should pay for, straight up. high quality training where it's me running objections. It's me on some of my own calls. It's me running our clients through processes. It's me doing call reviews. I share a lot of this, tons of this inside of the newsletter, and it's completely free to join. All you gotta do is click the link below. You know how a newsletter works. I'm sure you've opted into some. Put your email in there, put your name in, boom, you're there. We'll send you value. And I'm not sitting there pitching you and saying book a call with my team. In fact, I'm not 100% sure, but I think our first 5 emails are just value only. I don't even tell you to book a call. I think maybe email number 6, more value. And then at the bottom, I'm like, hey, if you want to work with me, book a call with the strategy call. And there we go. But this newsletter is packed with value, and it just follows my standard of value first, which is how I built the channel, which is how I built my business, which is how I've been able to work with some of the best clients, the best people in the space, is by giving value first. So this newsletter literally is that. And concepts like we're talking about here, like honesty, like very high level sales training that's based on psychology, that's based on the in-depth frameworks of how to affect people's lives and how to have them create change through high level communication. All of that's on my newsletter. So I'm just having a bunch of fun teaching my best stuff on this newsletter, and you have access to it. The link is down below. All right, so let's continue. Hopefully you opted in and joined the newsletter, or do it at the end of this video to watch the end of the video, because there's a lot of value here. So do it afterwards. But let's talk about the value. What's next? So the first thing I want to give you is what I like to do when I'm pre-framing, because there's concerns that come up. I pre-frame concerns by telling the truth and providing context. That's the recipe, okay? So I'll pre-frame concerns that prospects have by telling the truth and providing context. So I'll give you an example. Let's say, what offer should we mess with here? I have some scripting written. Let's say that we mess with someone who's on a fitness offer, okay? And they're like, I'm just worried I won't have time. We asked them, we're somewhere in discovery maybe, and we're like, hey, so I guess from now, what's the thing that's been holding you back and stopping you from just going all in on your fitness journey, and or even like getting the right training, the right accountability, the right mentors, like what's been going on there? Great. Good discovery question. And they say, well, honestly, I haven't had the time, and I'm really worried that I just wanted the time because I've tried before and then it ended up falling off. There we go. Okay. Now, how do we pre-frame that concern? It's not an objection, by the way. So everyone is like, it's an objection to pre-handle. It's not a fucking objection. It's a concern. It's a little bit different. An objection is, I don't want to do this because of a specific kind of fear I have. A concern is like, this is a relevant piece of logic I'm using in my buying decision. It's slightly different, okay? Don't kill me for being a sales nerd, but it's different. So if this is how we communicate on it. The guy is like, let's say, again, fitness offer. He's like, I'm just worried that I won't have time, or she. Okay, it's a lady, because I wrote that in the scripting here. So, she, like, I'm just worried I want to have time because I'm so busy with the kids. I'm between these 2 jobs as well. All right, how do we pre-frame that now in discovery? The way it would sound would be, number 1 is the truth. I will concede the truth. I won't say, of course you have time. Aren't there people who are busy who made it work? No, I'm going to concede the truth to get her on my side. Because if you jump all over it without conceding and being honest with her, she's like, this guy is just trying to make a sale. Or this gal is just trying to make a sale. We can't do that. So I'll pre-frame it. You're a busy mom. Like 100% you're busy. And I think busyness is a big part of life. Like how many kids did you say you had, Shelly? She says 2. I have 2 kids. Okay. Yes. 2 kids, working the jobs. You're super busy. Time is going to be a big challenge for you. I know it is. There's number 1, I've used honesty because that is true. I'm not afraid of the truth. A lot of sales reps are afraid of the truth because they think they can't close by using the truth. They're like, oh my God, if I say this, she'll be like, oh no, and now I can't do it. So I have to trick her into thinking she has tons of time. She doesn't have tons of time because she's a freaking busy mom. So I concede that. Now she's on my side because I've used the truth. So now I'm using that to disarm her. She's like, oh, he gets me. This is the truth. Then we continue. So you are a busy mom, and I think time is going to be challenging for you. I agree with you. She'll nod. She's like, yeah, he understands me. The thing that's interesting though is there's also people like that are in your position. People we know. We worked with this girl Jane. She had a single mom as a kid. She's working I think she's a dentist, something in medicine. She's a dentist, and she's putting in, like, we're talking 45, 55 hours a week with work. She cut down 35 pounds in her first 4 or 5 months with us. And that was a transformation that we saw. I don't know. You think that Jane, I forgot her name. I forgot the name I just used, but whatever. You think that Jane's busy, or what do you feel? Like, she's working a lot. Here we go now. Now we're doing something interesting, right? We just used truth. And now we're qualifying the truth. We're saying, yes, what you said is correct. I'm with you. You're right. Honesty. She's true. She's busy. But, right? So now, because we've started off on a point where we're conceding the thing that is very clearly the truth, and we're not running away from it as sales reps, trying to pretend it's not the case, it doesn't exist. Now, she's more likely to buy in when we smack away the concern, when we smack away the limiting belief, because I'm using honesty as a grounds to handle it. I'm not bullshitting her. I'm telling her the truth, right? So I'll concede that, and then we go with there's people, who make this work, like Jane as an example. So I guess the question I would have for you, Shelly, is there any reason why you absolutely cannot make this work? Like, is there any reason why you're where you'd be so busy, where it's like the future I want to have, where I'm fit, where I have that confidence, you're so busy where you don't deserve or can't have that future? Tell me what's coming up, because that really determines where we go from here. Now the burden is on her to justify her own position. There's a whole teaching I have on this. Actually, I think I dropped this in the newsletter, by the way. This is the kind of stuff I teach. We call this, it's a pre-framing model that I use, where you go negative, 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 bring them down to like a negative baseline, and then work them back up to new logic. If you like sales and you're a fucking sales nerd, and you don't want to just do the little like 10K a month in 90 days type corny shit, and you actually are like, this is hard and I have to get good at it and be really, really good, then you should join the newsletter. Again, it's free. This is the kind of stuff I talk about. It's crazy shit. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go down this base, like to this negative, 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 and bring it back up the top, and now it's going to be positive, and then she'll be on my side, right? But the only way I could have done that is by using honesty, right? I'm using honesty as a baseline to create change because I'm not afraid of the honesty. How interesting is that? And then she's going to agree. She's going to be like, you're right. I see what you mean. It's always been tough. It's been this, it's been that. She'll, have another level of excuses. I'll say, yeah, it actually has been tough. But would you say there's absolutely no way to make it work? If there is, then we can't help. But would you say that it's absolutely impossible for you to take charge of your life if you have the right people helping you? She's going to concede that. She's going to say, well, I'm sure there's a way. It has to be a way. And I'll say, I think there is a way too. So like, I guess with the time that you do have, tell me what's been going on and why you're not going to the gym. Because I'm sure you have these maybe 1-2 hours every other day that you do have maybe to yourself. You're sitting, read a book, grab a glass of wine, or how do you spend that time? Tell me, like, why are you not investing in fitness then? Now we have the problem. It's just I don't know what to do. Dieting is really hard. I can't keep myself accountable. Boom, now we have a perfect problem our company can solve, and she closes. Not that easy. Maybe she'll have some objections, but you get the idea. That's the game, right? Using honesty. Second example, way that we use honesty, we've got 4 more points here, including this one. So paint the most realistic picture. This is a real big one, and this is one that's non-negotiable. I paint realistic pictures to people. I don't lie to them. I tell them realistically what's going on, but then I qualify it, right? So I'll give you a good example. When people say, what are your results? Like, what are the results in the program? Let's say you get some asshole. Let's say you're doing a ecomm scaling program, kind of more sophisticated buyers, not some biz op where you're helping people go from like 0 to 5, but some dude's at 5, 10K profit, and he's like, I want to get to 20, 30K months, build and exit the ecomm brand. Okay, that's what his holy grail is, as we call it, the holy grail. All right, so you're like, and you pitched him, and he's like listening. He's like, okay, I get it. So what kind of results do you guys have? Like, what can I expect in terms of results? Here we go. He's like, does everyone see results? Like, does everyone get results? What can I expect? There's 2 ways you can do this. You could lie. You could be like, yeah, every single person in our program sees results. Bullshit. I think if you say that, I won't use the R word because that's not cool, but you might have some mental limitations if you're a closer who just does that. I'm kidding. And if you have been doing that, it's just a skill set limitation. Get better. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. That's what we do, right? Okay. But you shouldn't do that. It's obviously what you should not do. Everyone gets results. It's not believable. No, the guy's going to know you're full of shit. And even if you say most people get results, to start with that, I still don't like that. So here's what I do. Here's how it sounds when I do this. He pushes me. So what kind of results do you guys have? Like, what's your results rate? How many people get results out of everyone who joins? I'll start with this. I mean, the truth is, I'll be honest with you, brother. Not everyone in our program gets results. Like, I think that'd be ridiculous because we serve hundreds and hundreds of people a year. I think right now how many are we up to? Like, I think we've hit our 900th student, something like that. People who have ran through our program. Not every single person makes a change. It'd be ridiculous, and I wouldn't lie to you and tell you every person gets results. The thing is, we've tracked our data. The people who get results are the people who do show up and do the work. That's a near 100%, right? Except for maybe some life circumstance that pops up. I don't know, a family member passes or I can't get it. I don't know what it would be, but whatever happens in life happens. You can't affect that, right? Your house gets destroyed by a tornado. I don't know. I can't affect that. But outside of those acts of God, every single person who shows up and follows our process and follows the process to a T does get results because there's just too many resources and frameworks in place in what we do to make it where like you would fail if you did everything. The people who don't see results, which there are people who don't, are the people who half-ass their way through it, people who are sometimes consistent, and people who fall off, people who are not serious and don't have a vision. What I'm doing now, guys, don't zone out with me, okay? Don't zone out on me. I know this is a YouTube video, and it's easy to just sit and hear it in the background and zone out. But if you want to get good, this shit's going to make you really, really good. And I'm going to make you a bunch of money. If you're a remote sales pro or you want to be one and you're trying to make money, this is going to help you. So what I'm doing is I'm psychologically placing him in the shoes of someone who actually puts in work and gets results. Because the questions I would have asked him before on the call are questions that are designed to get him to commit to, I want to be this person who's an action taker, who's going to do work, I have a vision, all these things. So he's identified with me on the call. This is some Jedi level shit. He's identified with me on the call that he is the person who is going to do these things. He's told me this already because my scripting should have gotten him to say this, right? So if I would have asked him earlier, and I just want to know, like, in terms of work and you like making that commitment, that, as we call it, like that line in the sand for yourself, is that something you want to do, and is that someone you're willing to be? Yes or no? He would say yes. Okay, and why are you willing to do that? Because that's the important thing, John, before I pitch you. He answers that. Now he's verbalized and had a dialogue with me around his commitment to being this guy. So we've already established that. So he has pre-framed himself and said, I'm this person. So now I say the people who don't get results are not you. Although I started with honesty, right, to disarm him immediately and get on the same grounds. I started with honesty. Not everyone sees results because it's the truth. Any program that you get into doesn't have a 100% success rate. And if they tell you that, that's stupid. And they're lying to you. So if you believe that, good on you, but that's not true. No program has a 100% success rate. So when I tell him this, then what I'm doing is, so after honesty to disarm him, then I'm going to bring up the truth, then I'm going to bring up the qualifier, right? And the qualifier puts him in his head where he's like, okay, I am this person who would get results, so I don't see any reason why I wouldn't, of course. And then I contrast him with people who don't get results. So I said, there are people who don't get results, but here's who they are. And I'm not telling him that's not him. I'm not going to say that explicitly, it's too obvious. So John, who are you? That's stupid, old school, like dumb sales. Instead, I'm going to do this in a much more advanced way, something that's way trickier, way more diabolical, and way, way better. All right, it's like a Trojan horse. Some fun stuff. Here's how it sounds. I'll script it one more time so you see what I do. And I put my calls out. They're on the newsletter. You can see some of them. You see how I do this kind of stuff. Here's again how it sounds. Well, John, I mean, I think it'd be crazy if I told you everyone gets results, because of course they don't. We're running a program. We've served hundreds of people. And the big thing, I think the reason why not everyone gets results, and this is just the sad part of making money online, is you can't control what people are going to do. So the people who put in the work in terms of following our process, staying very consistent week over week, and have the vision, like that vision of, I want to be this business owner who's at 50, 60K per month profit and exits the business. If they have a vision of this and they stay true to that vision throughout the next 6 months, they do have success, and our success rate there is very high, right? The people who don't have success are those who just fall off. People who come in, don't take the game seriously. People who invest, the 5, 6K into this, and they're just like, oh, I invested it, so that means I'm good to go, right? Those people, they fall off and they don't see results. So the question I would ask you is, like, based on this, is there any reason you feel like you wouldn't see results? Because that's important to me in determining where we go from here and how I can help. Boom. Now the pressure's on him to justify his position. Like, he's cooked. He's finished. He's done then. His whole logical baseline falls apart. I've done this plenty of times. Our people do this. We review these calls in our protocols program. Like, we train on this all the time. So this is how it works. This is using honesty. I'll give you 3 more points. I'll run through them kind of quick, okay? Hopefully this has been valuable to you. So 3 things. Number 1, what you want to do, here's the principles of using honesty, okay? Some really cool principles. 3 solid principles. Number 1, you want to trigger people's deepest desires and speak to their holy grail, which is always going to be freedom. Okay, the holy grail is always freedom and who they become. And then there's going to be a number often that's attached to the freedom, right? So I want to be this person who is making 15K a month, but not just that, so that I can what? Right? The so that is the freedom. So you want to trigger their deepest desires, who they want to be, who they want to become, the results that they want to see showing up in their life day to day for themselves and their family. We want to trigger that as strongly as possible on a live call. And I'm constantly speaking to that. Do you notice in the examples that I gave, I'm not going to run through them again just for time. I don't want this to be an hour-long video. But the examples that I gave earlier, all of them, I was speaking about who the person will be, the results that they'll have, the life they want to build, whether it's fitness, whether it's B2B, you're helping someone get leads for the business, where the business is going to be in the future. That's Holy Grail too, right? I'm trying to trigger their deepest desires. And this is a very powerful strategy. A lot of people don't, a lot of sales reps, even sales reps that are good, because I work with guys who come in, they're pretty advanced, right? Like, we get some dudes coming in already making 5, 6K a month. They're doing okay, but they're like, I want to hit like 15K plus. What's the difference between those guys who are stuck at 5, 6 versus the guys who are at 15, 20K. The difference is the nuances of understanding how to stick on the Holy Grail, how to stick on a vision of freedom, how to constantly paint that, right? That's important. And then number two is simple, not easy. So I always like to use this framework where I always tell them at the top, the program isn't going to be easy. Like whatever program it is, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be simple, right? I always tell people you can't show up and do nothing because people like to hear that because what everyone is being sold to online, and a lot of you who have come in to work with me or some of you who may work with me in the future, I know this is something we do very well in our marketing. And we have shit marketing. I don't do much because I'm not a marketer. I'm a communicator. I'm a sales guy, right? I'm not a marketer. But the little marketing we do have, I constantly communicate that our program is simple. Our frameworks are simple to understand. It's very basic. It really is. Our stuff is simple. It's nuanced, right? There are complexities, but it's not confusing. It's simple. It's a simple process. We train our guys and gals, right? But it's not easy, right? It's not easy. It's not easy like just a walk in the park. And me being honest about that, there we go, honesty frames, right? Me being honest about that at the top builds trust with people. So they're like, oh, I get where he's coming from and I can relate to this because no one wants to be sold a lie, right? No one wants to be disrespected. I know you guys don't want to be disrespected. So if you've ever thought about like booking a strategy with my team or whatever, and you know, you understand how this game works of sales, you understand what we're doing. We have a program, right? I'm very open about that. Like you want to just be respected. You want to feel like your needs are being met and you're being understood and that no one's trying to sell you some bullshit dream, which is what happens a lot to beginners who come in to make money online. They're sold a bullshit dream, right? Our principle is it's simple, it's not easy. That's what it is. It's simple, it's not easy. And then number three, here's the biggest part of the game, is you want to frame things as predictable but not effortless, right? So I let my people know that it's going to take effort. You're going to have to work your fucking ass off. When I was selling dating, which was a great offer that I was on, the offer wasn't incredible, but the way they set the delivery up was really nice. So I loved selling it. I felt really good about it. You know, what I was delivering to people felt amazing. It felt good to me. And that offer, I would always tell guys, and I was dealing with some tough buyers, and I would tell them that your dating results, it's going to be predictable, but it's not going to be effortless, man. You're going to have to put in work. And if you're not prepared to show up and like put the best version of yourself out there, go communicate, go handle your fears, which I know is what they already want to do unconsciously, right? Maybe on the surface, they don't. Potentially, they want just an easy solution, but deep down, everyone knows, hey, this is going to have to be work. No one's like that stupid where they think they can get something without working. It's not a magic bean. Or magic pill, you just eat the red pill and you've changed your whole life. It doesn't work that way. You have to go through pain. You have to go through resistance. So I speak to that and I don't sell them a bullshit dream. But then I add in a qualifier of a but, which is, but here's the thing they also really want. It's going to be predictable. So you're not going to bang your head against the wall like you have been doing. And that's what our job is and why you're going to pay us. This is how it sounds on the dating offer, why you're going to be investing 10 grand with us. The reason is because we're going to alleviate those years of frustration and those years of burned time so that the effort you do put in now over the next 3 to 6 months, that changes the whole game for you and puts you in a position where you can succeed in your dating life and where you can succeed in attracting the right kind of partners, the right kind of women. So the question I would have is like that journey where it is going to be, hey, you're going to have effort, but it's going to be predictable. Is that something that aligns with you and who you want to be, or how do you feel? Because that's the most important thing. Oh my God, fuck, I'm so good. Oh, just delivering that felt like sauce. I missed the game. I mean, I still close, but like I miss just being on a high volume offer, taking 7 calls a day. Oh, those were good times. Anyhow, back to the YouTube video. Kind of lost myself in the scripting, lost myself in the sauce. Doesn't make sense. That's it. That's the game, right? That's how we do this. That's how you're going to make a bunch of money. That's how you're going to change your life. That's how you're going to bro, sister, whatever, whoever you are, right? That's how you're going to make a bunch of money and put yourself in the best position to succeed, okay? We have a lot of fun here. There's some crazy trainings coming up. I'll end with a little call to action. If you want to see how I can help you, there's 2 ways you can do it. One, get the newsletter. If you want to just join it, it's free. Nothing, no obligation, just it's free. Actually, both things I'm going to share with you are free. And the second one is the strategy call. The strategy call, we use a 2-call close process where what we do is you book a call with my SDR, my guy Frank. He's one of my top people. He's a great dude. I trained him myself. He was in our program, and now he works with me. You're going to book a call in his calendar, 15 minutes, no sales pitch, nothing. We just screen and see if you're a good fit in terms of your energy, your vibe, what you're looking for in sales. See if you like what we do in terms of what, the basics that we present to you there. We're not going to pitch you on anything, but we'll just break down just how we can help potentially. And then finances, see if you're qualified to invest in what we do. I'm not selling you anything here directly. Just go and book a strategy call if you want to have a conversation with my guy. And if you are qualified, then we'll book a demo call from that call with someone on my team, and we'll close you and handle your objections and get you in train with us, and you'll make you a bunch of money if you feel like it's a good fit too. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you. Hopefully it made sense. Go back on your calls and make a bunch of money, or if you're looking for a role, start DMing, start doing outreach, or come train with me and my people, and book a call, and we'll see how we can help you. Okay, take care. Be blessed, and I'll see you on the next training. Let's go make some money.